Mind Over Matter, the podcast where we dive deep into the mind and explore the power of resilience and growth. I'm your host, Anya, and today we have an incredible guest, Dr. Alain Salas. Dr. Salas is number one Amazon best-selling author, chiropractic physician, and body and mind expert. He is known for helping people break the cycle of limiting beliefs to achieve vibrant health, harmonious relationships, and sought after prosperity. Let's dive into decoding the mind, breaking the cycle of limiting beliefs. So, Dr. Salas, can you explain what limiting beliefs are and how they form?
Yeah, sure. Well, let's talk about the mind because it's like stress. We've got those big subject and sometimes we're not very clear on what the mind is and all that. So let's see what the mind is, right? And so it's kind of you've got two minds, right? You've got a mind that you're aware of, which is your conscious mind, which is basically your self identity, your personality, what you think you can do, what you think you cannot do, how you perceive your reality, right? The outside world. And there's a second mind. We call that the subconscious mind. And this subconscious mind is basically does record everything you have been doing in your life from age zero to now. And it's very fast. It's like it can process data at 11 million bits per second. And your conscious mind can process data only at 11 bits per second. So there's 1 million. So your subconscious mind is much more powerful, actually 1 million times more powerful. And that's where you've got your skills. That's where you've got some program that we call limiting belief, and also a program that we call empowering belief, right? And those programs they are created in two different ways, right? The first one of the first way it's like when you've got phobia or fear or what we call PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome. So let me give you an example to illustrate that. Okay. So let's pretend that I'm a warrior and I'm in the military and I'm in Iraq and I'm pulling my gun out and pull the trigger and kill my best friend by accident, collateral damage. So I come back to the US and I'm diagnosed with PTSD, right? Post-traumatic stress disorder. And so basically, I've got nightmare every night, like, those Rambo movies. I wake up with night sweat and there's still a part of my soul that is actually pulling on that trigger. I still have that memory, and that's what the trauma persists, right? And so what we want to do, so that's the limiting belief, right? And usually when you see on movies like the war hero that come back, they got PTSD and they are such a mess that usually the relationship goes down the drain. They can become homeless. And like, for example, during the Vietnam War in America, and also they can, obviously their health, right? You can have, all the disease, cardiovascular disease, cancer, and all that happen to you. So why this is happening is because those limiting beliefs got a profound impact in our entire being, right? Just to give you an idea, the conscious mind, it's only 10% or 5%, depends who you're reading, of our mind. And the subconscious mind is 90 to 95% of our mind. So who's in control here, right? I mean, you think that your self-identity, who you think you are, is in control, but actually is those program in the subconscious mind that control your thought, emotion, behavior, and action, and therefore your outcome in life. So those subconsciously mean there's one way you can get them. The second way is I always take that example. It's like imagine there's a little girl that see the dad is a drunk, right, and come back home every single night and beat up a spouse, the mom, little girl. So the question is, what do you think that little girl is going to attract down the road as a romantic relationship? Well, more than likely an abusive relationship, right? But if you ask a conscious mind, Do you say, hey, do you want to get beat up like your mom? She's going to say no. But the subconscious mind has been programmed by limiting beliefs. And those limiting beliefs are men are predator and women are prey. So she's gonna attract because our subconscious mind, because how can she attract that man? She's not gonna say and say, hey, shake the hand and shake his hand and say, oh, do you want to beat me up? It's not, it doesn't work that way, obviously, right? So it's like our subconscious mind are all connected to each other's. And so the subconscious mind gonna say subconsciously, right? You're not aware of, right? And she's going to say, the subconscious mind is going to say, okay, you need to fall in love with that guy, and like that, it takes two to tango, right? The guy is going to probably has been bullied before, and so he's going to replicate that bully to that to that woman, and that's it. They start that dance of predator and prey. And unfortunately, this can happen not only in relationship, but can happen in our health, can happen in our prosperity of self-sabotage and things like that. So those are limiting beliefs. The good news, though, we do have empowering beliefs, which are things that we program that are good for us. Does it make sense?
Absolutely does. It's so fascinating to see how deeply ingrained these beliefs can be and how they shape our actions.
Yes, it is because they are really the one in control because those programs are running behind the scene. And the subconscious mind is so powerful; it's 90% of your mind. So it's kind of in a way we are still living in the past. I remember the example that I gave you with the military a person that they're still a part they're still a part of our soul that are caught up on those challenges, on those trauma, or those bad experiences, whatever you want to judge them. And so, and those are dictating. It's kind of like our past limiting belief. Our limiting belief are dictating our present and molding our future. So they put like limitation, right? They put like a cap on what you can achieve or not in our lives. So it's not our fault, right? It's you just have limiting belief. So and it's subconscious mind. So you have to understand that most of the therapies and things like that, like talk therapy and things like that, focus more on what we call the conscious mind, which is 5 and 10% of your mind. So, do you want a therapy or like healing things to help potentially 5 or 10% of your mind, or do you want a therapy that can help basically 90 to 100% of your mind?
Mm-hmm. So, what was your personal journey in discovering and overcoming your own limiting beliefs?
Well, and yeah, I've experienced that firsthand, right? To make a long story short, I'm from south of France, and I used to live in my sailboat and rent boat in south of France. And one day I just had an experience or series of experiences and kind of a calling, if you want. And I decided to sell my boat business, and come to America to help to become a chiropractic physician, right? And because I believe that we've got the ability to heal ourselves, and what I've been told at the time that chiropractic will be able to help that process, right? So I did graduate, and very quickly, like less than 3 years. And after I had my own practice, and I did very well. My practice was really thriving. I had 4 employees. I had like 8 treatment rooms. I was seeing 260 patients a week, so it was really working good. But I was always working, all the time, and I, more importantly, I was always thinking in my head about work. So I was married at the time, and I had like a 6 years old Maya. Now she's 20 years old. And I was not, when I was coming home, I was like just there, but I was not present. You see what I mean? I was present for my family. And so I started to get depressed and overwork and burned out. And And so everything in my life went down the drain. My relationship, I divorced. My practice went from thriving to failing. And on top of that, I got diagnosed with colon cancer. And so all the things in my life were important to me, my family, right? Obviously, my work, because work is about health. And so I had to question everything that I was doing to help my patient, which was basically helping them with their internal chemistry, right? Find out if they do have food sensitivity and things and like that, and organ system. And so I have to redefine myself at so many different levels, not only to help myself to heal from the cancer, but also to I knew that if I will help myself, I will get the knowledge after to translate that help into my patient. So I went on a quest. I wanted to find out what is that force behind that make me fail my relationship, fail my marriage, and fail my livelihood, right? And even the way I was helping people. So I did study some of the technique, and that helped me, but I didn't find something that really made a big difference in my eyes. And after 3 years of getting some intuitive, you know, um, thought and action and things like that, I created what it is now, the mind clearing system. So after applying that mind clearing system, the 3 step actually of the mind clearing system, I was able to recover from the cancer naturally. I was able to practice totally differently and make actually even more money, but being more like a solo practitioner, right? Because I was able to help the patient now physically, chemically, which is the internal chemistry, and emotionally and mentally. Yeah, and before I was focused only on the chemical stress, right? So my work became more satisfying, and the death I was able to help and transform the life of my patient was so much more. So there was no way I could burn out, because this was really uh, to make such a difference in people's life. It's so overwhelming with joy and peace and tranquility, right? And so that's really what happened.
Right. So, your story is incredibly inspiring. It shows the transformation is possible for everyone.
Yes, it is possible for everyone. The main things I think that really make a big difference is the mindset. That positive mindset. And so, positive mindset, just to go through any challenges and reaching your goal, is not to be on a victim mode, right? So you want to make sure that first of all, especially for healing and especially big disease like cancer, you want to make sure that you don't blame anybody else, right? I mean, not even yourself. Don't blame yourself, right? It is what it is. It's just a challenge like another challenge. And so, in order to learn from your challenge, you just have to have a more open minded and say, okay, why do you think this? What's creating this? Right? What's causing this? Because when you've got a problem in life, in order to resolve the problem permanently, you need number one, you need 2 steps. Number one, you need to find out what's the cause of the problem, and number two, you need to know how to fix it. So soon enough, I realized the mind, because it's so important, right? I mean, especially the subconscious mind, which is 90% of our mind. I mean, it's got a big impact over body, right? We talk about mind, body, right? And body and mind, they cannot be separated. But the mind definitely have a bigger influence over the body. And so by redefining, reprogramming my mind using the mind clearing system, that kept me from being a victim, right? And learn, like, if you're not a victim, you learn from your experiences and you become a creator, right? And so, and my mindset was also with the mind clearing deeply increased, because the mindset is needs to be positive, right? And if you look at the stat, they're not pretty, right? The stat, they say that 80% of our thoughts are negative. So we focus more on the things we don't want instead of the things we want. That's why we are much more negative, right? It's like you problem solving, right? We are too much in our head, always thinking, overthinking. And when you resolve a problem, guess what? There's another problem. That's why our mind are so negative, right? For the average people. And after 95% of our thoughts are the same repetitive thought as the day before. So we caught up on a loop, like our kind of a scenario script that we're repeating with maybe different input, but still the same kind of thought. And like it can be, I'm not good enough. It can be, oh, why always me, which is a victim mode, right? So I was able to identify the causes, right, which was the which are the subconscious limiting belief, and find a way how to fix it. So how can you fix the limiting belief? Well, step number one, you need to delete those limiting beliefs. Step number two, instead, you need to download empowering belief. And step number three, you need to manifest and create whatever you want for your health, for your relationship, or for your prosperity. So basically, you need to delete what you don't want, you download what you want, and you create and you manifest your goal. That's about it.
Mm-hmm. Right. Hearing real life examples make the process feel so much more tangible and achievable.
What's the question again? Can you repeat, please?
Mm-hmm. No, I was just saying, okay, so can you share a success story from one of your clients who used um limiting beliefs like to clear it?
Oh yeah, of course, all the time. I pride myself. I always say, I want like all my patients to be testimonial people, right? So let's see. Let's explore that. I think it's a really good idea. Thank you for asking. So let's see. So I've got so many, but let's start with different, right? We're going to talk about different things. So, all right. So, like Patrick, for example, he had bloating for years after each meal. He was bloated. So he said that it made him feel fat and unattractive. And after one treatment of body clearing, the bloating disappeared. So he thought it was the food, but it was not. Within a couple of days, I realized the bloating will never come back. I felt that I was being set free. The unexpected benefit is that I was able to breathe without limitation. So basically, we treated the bloating and it helps the breathing because he had asthma, right? And so they had common the problem with the bloating and the breathing had common limiting belief. That's why we were able to help him, right? So now another example. That woman, her name is Pauline, and she was a hoarder, HORDER. So she means she cannot throw. Like she said, there was a clear spot in my house, I will immediately fill it with anything and everything that I could not let go of. It made my life chaotic and my family's life overwhelmed. So she applied what she learned online and watching TV program about decluttering with no success. So she became depressed and felt useless because no matter what she tried, she couldn't stop the hoarding. The more she tried, the worse the hoarding condition got. So she said, after one mind clearing, this is only one treatment, people have to understand that. After one mind clearing treatment, I felt empowered right away to start cleaning and decluttering my house on my own. The surprising things about mind clearing reprogramming is that I don't have the need to accumulate anymore. I can easily throw away things that are not needed in my life. One of the silver lining is that my daughter that lives with her feels that my house is now her own sanctuary where she can meditate and relax in peace. And I will say one more example, maybe one with pain. So this is the case of Chelsea. I've been having severe TMG pain for the past 2 years. So TMG is when you chew and you've got pain of the low part of your mouth that move, right? So 2 years, the past 2 years, she was in pain. The more stressed out I was, the more I was clenching my jaw and the more intense the pain was. I tried numerous buttock injection and massages, but the relief lasted only for a little while and the pain always came back. After two mind clearing treatments, so she needed two this time, the pain completely disappears and never came back. After 6 weeks, I'm still pain free. I treated her for a knee also, and I will be done with a testimonial. I also had severe pain behind both knees that got really bad the past 3 months. I could not keep up with my workout regimen anymore. I run 3 times per week. But it hurt so bad that I had to stop. After one body clearing treatment, the pain was totally gone on the spot. I'm back to my full workout regimen like I always tell my friends. I cannot explain it. You just might try it for yourself. So I hope that those examples give a pretty good idea of what that technique can do.
It does. And hearing real life examples make the process feel so much more tangible and achievable.
Yes, because the treating pain actually was really my go-to to improve the technique to make it like the way it is now, because pain you have it or you don't have it, and so sometimes I was not able totally at the beginning, not able to totally clear the pain, and after I did some improvement and all that, and now it's just really 1 or 2 visits. Because sometimes what happens, for example, with pain, the pain will come back in different situations, right? Let's say you got neck pain, we clear it, and after you go and sit in your car and you got pain. So we'll treat the negative picture will be you sitting in the car having pain in your neck. The positive picture will be totally the opposite of that. And we treat what I call the resistance of the triggers of the program. So we get rid of the resistance and after we're done.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, what are some common limiting beliefs that people struggle with, and how can they start identifying their own?
Well, you don't have, here's the good news. You don't have to identify them, right? Because the identification is like when you visualize step number one, you to delete your limiting belief. So I will ask, okay, visualize what you don't want, right? And we deprogram that. That's a specific program. And after we replace that, I say visualize the best outcome, the ideal outcome that you want, and you visualize that, right? And so in the picture, you've got all the symbolism that represent the limiting belief and the empowering belief. So you don't need to know. It's not necessary. So that's why it's so good, because if you need to know, sometimes you need to have another doctor or healer tell you what it is, right? It's hard to find out by yourself, or you need to use muscle testing. Here, there's no technology involved. Those are your negative picture and positive picture. It means you heal yourself. I'm just helping, or a mind clearing practitioner. It's just there to helping you through the process. But truly, the healing happened with the negative and positive picture, and we just help for the reprogramming that the patient actively reprogram himself or herself. So that's the beauty of that. Not only you can help to heal yourself, I treat myself very often when I need it, and but also you can help your loved one. You can help. You don't need to have a degree on medical anything, right? You can help your daughter that just, for example, hurt herself, or I've got some neck pain or headaches and things like that, and you can help them on the spot. So that's very gratifying.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, thank you so much, Dr. Salas, for sharing your wisdom and experiences with us today. Remember, listeners, breaking the cycle of limiting belief is a journey that starts with self awareness and small steps. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share it with your friends. Let's continue this journey of mind over matter together. See you next time.